Hello everyone, I am back once again with another Wi-Fi match for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, along with a brand new opponent as well, in Icy Dude, who is actually supposed to be the owner for the Discord server that's actually dedicated to having Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl Wi-Fi matches. So this match is going to be probably interesting, just given the fact that because he's dedicated to doing Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl matches, I can only imagine that he'd be probably more familiar with the meta in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl compared to myself, who only does matches but doesn't really follow the meta as much these days, just given the fact that I've been kind of lazy with it. But it is what it is. Anyway, so this match is going to be OU as well, because that's kind of how it is for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl Wi-Fi matches. So yeah, and looking at the team that this guy has, it's actually quite scary. I did guess what lead I could use. I decided to go with Raikou because most of his team kind of doesn't appreciate Volt Switch aside from Gliscor, but that would also come down to whether or not he's going to be predictable with the Gliscor switch-in. So yeah, if I can play around that, then I should be good to go for the most part. Otherwise, you know, things can get kind of nasty pretty quickly. But I want to believe that the team, the one that I have, should be able to handle him at least relatively well, because he does have a lot of coverage on his team for mines, which is, I'd say it's to uncomfortable levels, honestly. Because I'll be honest with you, when I looked at the team, I was asking myself this. I'm not saying that it's true or not, but I was just thinking, is this guy like counterpicking me or something? Because what he has, the coverage on his team is insane, honestly. And this Yanmega is already one of those big examples, honestly. And he does lead with it right now, as I do with Raikou. Now here, obviously, right out of the gate, I actually wanted to go for the Scald, because I kind of had a feeling that he might go for the Gliscor switch in right here. But I wasn't sure that he would either, honestly. He could also just stay and go for the Bug Buzz. So, but, you know, I kind of didn't want to risk it, so I just decided to try to go for Volt Switch. I kind of was hoping that he wouldn't just obviously go into Gliscor, but he kind of did, unfortunately. So this was an opportunity for me to actually read my opponent, and I actually didn't go for it. And it's costing me right now. You're going to see right now. Because, look, I am going to stay in, because obviously I feel like because he switched this thing in, I feel like he's probably going to want to do some kind of setup, whether it be Swords Dance or even set up hazards, which he does in the form of Stealth Rocks, so... And the worst part is, this is where it starts to, like, you know, I start to see the consequences of my inability to predict my opponent here. He gets the Toxic Orb off. If I got the Scald off, like, on the predicted switch-in, he would have had either two options. Either let the Gliscor go down, or he could switch out, and something else on his team would take more damage. Hell, I could have even gotten the burn to negate the Toxic Orb altogether from this Gliscor. But, you know, again, just for not going for that one read, it's costing me dearly. But anyway, so here he's not going to let his Gliscor go down, obviously. I could have 2-hit KO'd it, possibly, because after the Toxic Orb recovery, I don't know if it can now. But he's going to switch into the Heat Ran regardless, which is not going to appreciate the Scald either, but does take it relatively well. But considering that Scald isn't stab on Raikou, obviously, I guess it makes sense that it doesn't do as much damage as I would have liked. But it was pretty annoying to see nonetheless. So here, obviously, I kind of was wanting to see what I should switch into right now. I was guessing Rotom, but obviously I wanted to get some more damage on this Heat Ran, so I decided to go for the Volt Switch right here. And after sending in the Rotom, I was hoping to be able to take this thing out with one Hydro Pump. Because if it takes the Hydro Pump way too well, then that would be kind of annoying. But this Rotom obviously is not invested in max special attack, so I was just kind of banking on the fact that Hydro Pump is, I believe, 110 in special attack, or like the base power is 110, and obviously it's stab on Rotom, so based on those two factors, I was kind of hoping that this Hydro Pump would be enough to take out the Heatran. After seeing the leftovers, though, I kind of started to have my doubts, but obviously I still had to go for it either way. I was tempted to go for a Nasty Plot, but the problem was that if he sends in the Dragonite, then I won't be able to do much, I think. Or it might have been in my interest, who knows. Because usually when Dragonites come in, they would just want to set up the Dragon Dance. And I could have just gotten a +2 Volt Switch off. And send in something accordingly. Probably Clefable or something. Probably should have set up the Nasty Plot. But I didn't either way, so it is what it is. So here, I didn't see what he went for. I think or maybe I was still deciding on my move, actually. But yeah, I decided to go for the Hydro Pump. my opponent, I guess, is deciding whether or not he should stay in or not. He does stay in ultimately, and yeah, he's gonna unfortunately take the Hydro Pump way too well, and he is gonna go for the Magma Storm, which isn't gonna do too much on the Rotom, but you know, it's gonna do residual damage with the Magma as always, which will be annoying because it's gonna, you know, kind of negate my recovery from leftovers. Now here, because of the leftovers from this Heat Ran, this kind of put me in a tight situation because I wasn't confident in being able to take off the Heat Ran from here with Volt Switch, just given how well it took the Hydro Pump. It's stab on Rotom, sure, but you know, like these Heat Rans are usually specially defensive, at least bulky, because you know they have decent special defense, but you know, with HP investment, it can take it even if it's not invested in special defense. Jeez, I can't say those things right, but it is what it is. So yeah, obviously I had to ultimately go for the Hydro Pump just to be absolutely certain it can take it out. I did run the risk of missing that, so that was scary. But thankfully for me, I was able to actually, take it out. I think what happened, okay, so I said that I might have missed something here, and I think I did. It was the fact that I think we were both missing the Hydro Pump and Magma Storm, like I think twice, which was kind of crazy, so like damn. But yeah, it kind of didn't matter that much, well, sort of, because I think I was getting some decent recovery from the leftovers, but you know, it is what it is nonetheless. Or actually, probably not. I don't think so, because I was actually full HP, I think. I'm not sure, though. I don't remember anymore. But it is what it is. Either way, he does go into the Yanmega, and because I saw Yanmega, I was thinking he could have gone for two things. He could have gone for either a Giga Drain or the Bug Buzz, if he were to predict me to switch out into something. It would have been able to do a lot of damage, given that it's stabbing and all that good stuff, because Yanmega is pretty powerful, believe it or not. So I decided to go into Clefable, anticipating the Bug Buzz, and even if it went for Giga Drain, I wanted to believe Clefable could take it fairly well, given that it's not stab on Yanmega. Instead, what he goes for is the Air Slash, and unfortunately for me, not only does it do too much damage, but it got a crit, so it did even more than it should have, actually, which is really annoying, because I think this was kind of a huge deal, honestly. Like, I think this crit kind of matters, and you're going to see at the end why, honestly. But it did, so either way, now this put me in a really, really tight situation, because I was not expecting that to do a lot of damage. I think it was here where I also realized that it was a Choice Specs variant of Yanmega. But here, because of this, obviously, now I'm like not even sure what I want to do, obviously. I kind of was like wondering if I should let the Clefable go down. But because the Dragonite was still on this guy's team, I kind of wanted to keep it around. So I did something that was probably, I couldn't tell you if it was actually a good play in retrospect. Maybe I should have actually let the Clefable go down, but I ultimately couldn't, like I didn't know what to do, obviously, because like I was really not expecting the Air Slash to do that much damage, but it was a crit, so obviously, like, what more can I expect, honestly? So yeah, I decided to go into Lucario, and obviously Lucario is not going to appreciate an Air Slash, especially if this happens to be Specs, which, yeah, it definitely is Choice Specs, actually, because, yeah, it does way too much damage. But what I wanted to do with this Lucario was actually go for the Extreme Speed, just to get some damage off, and then just let it go down, obviously. Because I didn't want this thing to be full HP while doing a lot of damage to my mons, so, yeah. This Lucario, I couldn't tell you if this would have been useful later on, honestly, just given the fact that this thing doesn't really do much to Fortress or Dragonite, because, it's a physical Lucario. I think if it was a special Lucario with one Nasty Plot, I could have probably done a lot of damage, but I wanted to try a physical Lucario, actually, so it is what it is. Either way, here I'm going to send in Rotom now, because I lost Lucario, so here I'm just going to go for the Volt Switch. On the off chance he wants to switch out, I was kind of hoping that once again he wouldn't make the obvious play of going into Gliscor, but I think I'm actually trying to rely on that a little too much, and I'm actually trying to predict him to not go into Gliscor, which is kind of pretty bad, I'd say, in my opinion. But it's because I feel like maybe he knows that I know that that going into Gliscor is could be an obvious play, so he probably tried going for the no mix-up, and I think it is paying dividends for my opponent right now, which is annoying for me, obviously, but it is what it is. So here, yeah, obviously he does go into the Gliscor, and yeah, obviously can't do anything with Volt Switch. So my question was what he intended on doing with this Gliscor. So here I decided to just go for a Hydro Pump, And if I missed, that would be even more annoying because, you know, RNG is not exactly, like, courteous with me, to say the least, honestly. But that's mostly in Sword and Shield. It's more so in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl where I seem to have a much better time, but it seems like I might have jinxed myself with this match, honestly. Thankfully, I did not miss the Hydro Pump right here, though. So I was able to take out the Gliscor at least. Unfortunately for me, though, he did go for the freaking knockoff, so that is a little annoying because now I'm not going to get any passive recovery with this thing. And with this team that's just doing a lot of damage to my team, I mean, yeah, obviously getting that knocked off is quite an inconvenience, but it doesn't really matter that much, I'd say, just given the fact that right as I take out this Gliscor, he's just going to send in Yanmega once again. And once again, I just don't know what to do. I wanted to switch in Raikou, but the problem was that if he predicts that and goes for the Bug Buzz, it would do a lot of damage and possibly even 2-hit KO, honestly. And this Yanmega does have Speed Boost, so that means that it's going to outspeed my Raikou by the next turn and just finish me off, which is incredibly annoying. And then Tangrowth, don't even get me started. Air Slash or Bug Buzz does the trick as well. This Yanmega was kind of what was making me think it was making me wonder if my opponent was actually counterpicking me, honestly. But because this team that I have, I only showcased it in the last match like only a day or two ago before we had this match. So it's possible that my opponent might have actually done something with his team to make it accommodate so that he can handle his team. But I still thought that it was doable regardless of whether or not that was actually true. So the problem was just that I was getting a little like screwed over by over predicting and maybe also the RNG, such as that crit with the freaking Clefable. But yeah. Anyway, so after so much contemplation, obviously, I just decided to let the Rotom go down because, again, I don't really have much to switch into Yanmega, especially because this thing is Choice Specs, and this thing is getting Speed Boost, so, yeah. Right now that he went for Giga Drain just to take out my Rotom, I decided to go into Raikou since it's not... I feel like this is the one thing that can take the Giga Drain fairly well. I wanted to, like, go for another Thunderbolt right here because, you know, now that the Gliscor is gone, now I have no, you know, no concerns, you know, like there's no need to worry, basically is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so I can definitely go for the Thunderbolt now. And if he switches anything in, then it's not going to appreciate it, obviously, because it's still a Thunderbolt from Raikou. Although, honestly, based on my last match, I think the Fortress would have probably been an obnoxious switch in, honestly, since that thing would just be able to come in and set up hazards, obviously. But yeah, here instead what he's going to send out is a Dragonite, which, yeah, I was kind of hoping that, you know, like, wasn't going to be able to, like, set up too much, but here I go for the Volt Switch because, you know, there's not much I can do with this thing. I would have liked to have gone for the Thunderbolt and hope for a pair-up, but I couldn't rely on that, honestly, so I just had to go for the Volt Switch and send in Tangrowth, and what I wanted to do with this Tangrowth was actually put it to sleep with a Sleep Powder, then go for Leech Seed, then go for Knockoff, and depending on what move he goes for on my Tangrowth, if it's an attacking move, depending on the amount of damage that it does, I might either stay in or try to send in Clefable so that that can recover with a Moonlight, along with the Leech Seed recovery, you know, and kind of help it like recover from the obnoxious hit that he had to take from Yanmega. However, here, unfortunately, like we both get recovery, so yeah, that's kind of annoying that the Dragonite is leftovers once again, just so that the multi-skill gets recovered again. But this thing is gonna have Fire Punch, which again, like, I was hoping he wouldn't have it, and usually they don't have it. But this is exactly why I was thinking that maybe this guy's counterpicking me, because who puts Fire Punch on freaking Dragonite? And you're gonna see later that this Dragonite doesn't even have Extreme Speed. It just has Dragon Claw, it has Earthquake, and has Fire Punch, along with Dragon Dance. I guess if it has Dragon Dance, maybe that's why it doesn't have Extreme Speed, and maybe given the mons like Scizor and Fortresses, maybe that's why he has Fire Punch. He probably is, like I said before, he might be more like in touch with the meta compared to myself, honestly, because I still don't follow the meta. I just made a team, you know, based on what Showdown was showing me was in OU, so, you know. Like, I was very, very skeptical when I was seeing all these coverage moves being applied onto me, honestly, because I was just not sure, you know, like, it kind of felt kind of sketchy in my opinion, but it is what it is, obviously. Maybe that's what happens when I don't know any better, you know, but yeah. Anyway, so obviously, I missed the Sleep Powder, as you saw there, with the Tangrowth, and because of that, I was forced to switch out to see if I can get another shot at trying to land this Sleep Powder. However, unfortunately for me, because I think it's because of the Stealth Rocks here, I actually turned out to not be able to live the next switch in for Tangrowth with this Fire Punch, so I was like, damn. And obviously because of that, you know, I lose this match. Like, I get swept here because this Dragonite, yeah, it's full HP, but he got to set up the rocks annoyingly enough. So now I'm just gonna lose it to a Dragon Claw because it's already a +1 speed. And Clefable is just gonna go down to literally any move. That isn't Dragon Claw, obviously, because Dragon Claw doesn't do anything. And I think it's at full HP by now as well. So, and even if it wasn't, it's gonna be in the next turn. So yeah, I think here I could have just gone for the E speed, but I was just kind of fearing that he might try to get greedy with it and go for another Dragon Dance just to flex on me or something like that. But nah, that wasn't the case. He just went for the Dragon Claw, playing it safe, making sure that he just wins the match, and enough said. So yeah, right there, leftovers obviously, which is annoying. I kind of hate that these Dragonites have leftovers, but it is what it is, and I know why they have it. It's for the multi-skill, you know, to be accommodated and all that good stuff. But yeah, that's going to be the whole match. As you saw, this match was kind of bad, honestly. Because I had 2 opportunities to read my opponent with the Gliscor, and I just kind of never went for it. And that ended up costing me. And then don't even get me started with the RNG, which I already said in, you know, in many matches that has been a problem for me in Generation 8. Not as much in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, but I think because I said that in my last match, I think I might have actually jinxed myself here. So because of that, I ended up losing here, obviously. My opponent did play very well, but I was a little skeptical as to whether or not he made this team specifically for my own. But again, I don't know that either way. And again, just based on the fact that he's the owner of the Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl server, it's possible that he just knows the meta more than I do. So, you know, it is what it is nonetheless. And again, I still appreciate that the guy even was willing to, you know, have a match with me in 2025, by the way. So yeah, but I do feel a little bummed out that it was on my 20th match, on the milestone match, that I had to lose, which is kind of insane. It would have been alright if I just lost in the 21st match or even in the 19th match, but it had to be the 20th match that I lose, didn't it? Insane. And because of that, I actually did punish myself by grinding a particular game, which if you've been following my channel, you'll probably know which game it was. But yeah, you'll see a video on that later down the road. I might actually specify it in the description below just so you guys don't get confused. But yeah, with all that said, yeah, thank you all for watching this match, and hope to catch you guys for the next match whenever I get to it, or something else, you know, because lately I've been also uploading a bunch of other stuff like, you know, playthrough for GoldenEye. I've been showcasing no death runs for Serious Sam Advance. I've also been showcasing no death runs for Contra 3, and basically a bunch of other games, because, you know, I actually like showcasing games that are, you know, from my days of yore, basically. And a lot of these games, which happen to be shooting games, by the way, are some of these games that, you know, go back to those days and all that good stuff. But anyways, yeah, take it easy and have a good one, obviously.